Today I want to share with you guys my thoughts on the Dewalt cordless brad nailer 1 year later and my top 5 reasons why I've decided to finally ditch my air compressor for good. Hey guys, Toolman Tim here. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. Back with another workshop review, and this week it's another in my ongoing series of 1 year later reviews. It's actually been closer to a year and a half since I originally picked this thing up, and it still looks almost like new. I want to share with you guys my thoughts, whether I still really do love it, which obviously I do, why you should buy one, and the top 5 benefits of going cordless. First off, from last year, the prices dropped 20 bucks. So this bare tool on Amazon is $299.99 right now, which is a great price point, but that's just for the tool. The better price is actually at Home Depot right now, $319.99. You get the nailer, you get a 2 amp hour battery, you get a 1.5 amp rapid charger, which will do the 2 amp hour battery in 90 minutes, and a great big tool bag for $319. That's the best deal I've been able to find on this right now. If you're checking on Amazon, over 2,000 reviews, 4.8 stars. As I mentioned, it comes with my absolute favorite 2 amp hour battery with the digital gauge on board. I honestly wish Dewalt would put those in all their kits. There's no reason not to, other than price, of course. I hate the 1.5 hour and the 1.3 amp hour batteries because there's no onboard fuel gauge. Now, what do I like about this? Basically everything. One of my biggest concerns with this when I first got it was this entire housing is plastic. I've had no problems with it at all. It's durable as all get out. It's held up really well. I love how fast you just push that button down and pull it out. It's in there like that, close it. You are done. I love how easy that is. I love how tight this nose is. See how close it is in line? I'm able to get it down in, even though it's big and bulky, I'm able to get it right in where I need to. I've never had a spot where I couldn't get right into it. Now, as far as jams go, when I did the original review, I think I'd had 1 at that point. I might have had 3 or 4 in the whole time. There's almost nothing to it. To clear the jams, it's right here. You just grab both sides, pull that open, the whole thing comes up. You're able to access right there. It is so deadly simple. Has a depth gauge right there, has a Nomar tip there, comes with an extra Nomar tip right there. It has the LED lights, which I've loved all along, because even in a fully lit up room, when you're laying down right up against the baseboard, and that lights up the area perfectly, so you can work even in low light conditions. Okay, there's a lock right here, so you can lock it out. So that one's on, now it's locked. There's a tape measure right there, if you can see it, right along there, which is great. A nice little window that shows you when you're getting really close to the end. Now, one of the downsides to it, which isn't that big of a deal, is the fact that when it gets down to 3 or 4 nails left, it won't allow it to go empty. When you get down that far, you just got to slap in another sleeve of nails and keep on going. The thing is damn tough. I've dropped it a bunch of times and you could barely even tell. It's got rubberized all around here, and I've even used it as an adjuster, you know, an attitude adjuster, a hammer a few times, which you're like, Tim, why would you use a $300 cordless tool as a hammer? Well, in my hands, a lot of tools are a hammer quite often. The bag it comes with, I know, I had to talk about this in my last review as well. The bag's huge. It holds this, a circular saw, charger, some batteries, a toolkit, the works. So that's become my drill bag. It allows me to nail as fast as I want. I've never had it like have to cycle before I could drive another nail. For years, I always had a little hot dog compressor that I couldn't stand, was a pain in my ass, and I finally decided between this right here, and you can't see it, I'll bring it down here for you. So the 2 things I always used a compressor for was my brad nailer and pumping up tires. When I had those 2 things, I was all set to eliminate my compressor. And you might say, well, Tim, why would you do it? Let me tell you. Number 1, no hose. I love the fact that there's not a hose for me to pull on and knock over a customer's potted plant, or trip somebody, or trip myself, or slap myself in the face with it. No compressor. I don't have to lug a compressor up the stairs, down the stairs, out of my shop, in the truck, out of the truck. No noise. There's nothing worse than working in a confined space when you have the compressor kicking in all the time. It's either going to make you deaf or piss your customer off. No ear protection. so I can sit there and just listen with regular old headphones instead of having to wear them stupid over-the-ear protectors that make you so hot, and no setup. I can have an entire room snapped down with baseboard or whatever I happen to be doing that time in the same amount of time it used to take me to set up the compressor, wait for it to air up, hook up the hose, hook up the nailer, load the nails, and get started. I love this thing. Can you tell I love it? Now, as far as the cons go, there's not a lot. I told you about when it gets down to just a couple of nails, it can be a pain in the ass. No big deal. It is kind of big and bulky. I mean, it's definitely heavier than, say, a normal Brad nailer, but keep your battery small. That helps. And you get used to it. After a little bit of time, I don't notice it at all because, number one, you don't have it being dragged down by the hose all the time, so you got free motion there, and it's just a little bit easier on your arms. And then the last thing is the price. Now, it's hard to quantify exactly why I think this is such a good value, but let me try here. So, number one, I didn't need to buy a compressor. Now, you know, if your compressor dies, this is something to really look at because that's what happened to me. I didn't have to buy a new compressor. I didn't have to go buy another hose. I didn't have to go buy another air gun. So you take all three of those, throw it into this. For $3.19, you know, the bag and the charger, not worth anything. Take $50 off of that battery because I love that battery. It's worth that battery. So $250. You can't get much of a compressor, a hose, and a Brad nailer for $250. And this gives you all the freedom without any of the hassle. I love it. So if you guys are looking for an 18 gauge Brad nailer, cordless, that runs on my favorite platform, Dewalt, because that's the one I've always been on, check this guy out. I don't even think I gave you the model number, but it's DCN 680. So look for that. Delta Charlie November 680. All right, guys, that's it for me this week. If you want more gear recommendations like this, first off, hit the subscribe button, stick around, and run by toolmantim.shop. Over there, you'll find right now over 100 pieces of gear with Amazon links to all the recommended stuff I've used and abused, stuff that's made me money or saved me money in my handyman business. Prepper gear, painting gear, DeWalt cordless gear, the whole works. Even if you don't buy something from that list, if you just start your Amazon shopping there, you'll support my content. So thanks, guys. And if you want to know more about who I am, quickest way, toolmantim.co. Run by there. You'll find my social links. You can sign up for the monthly newsletter and check out my three-time weekly podcast, the Workshop Podcast, where I talk about everything freedom-minded and preparedness related. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me in the workshop. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.